that all the information you can give me? Look, I don't mean to be difficult about this, but I really would like to know what... Yes, of course. Thank you. Excuse me, doctor.
Yes, may I help you?
You're Councilman Ryan's brother, aren't you?
Yes, I am, Mrs. Woodard.
All right. I would like a minute of your time and some information, please. Now, is the hospital staff going to strike or not?
We hope not. The House Association, which represents the younger doctors, the interns, and the residents, are still negotiating.
Negotiating?
The hospital has been given a list of grievances.
And if your grievances aren't answered?
Then there could be a strike.
What time is your deadline?
8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Oh.
In event of strike, there will be medical coverage of all patients.
Oh, yes, so I've been told.
Dr. Coleridge will remain in neurology, and I'm sure that there'll be some senior physicians on duty. Only the interns and the residents are involved in the strike action.
Only?
That's right.
Let me see if I can get this straight, Doctor. Dr. Coleridge and one or two other doctors are going to provide total coverage for 2 wings of neurology, replacing an entire staff of interns and residents who have themselves been exhausting themselves for the past few weeks trying to provide this exact same service.
I believe that some of the patients will be moved.
However, I am concerned with my husband, who is not well enough to be moved.
I'm sure that your husband will be taken care of.
I really wish you could tell me how. I mean, suppose Dr. Coleridge is needed in surgery and there's an emergency down the hall and my husband has another heart attack. What do I do then? Do I run down 6 flights to a picket line and try to persuade somebody to come back up onto the floor to help him? Really? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah.
May I come in?
Oh, yeah. Father, please come in.
Delia, I'm so sorry to hear you've been ill. I've been out of town with family and only learned this morning that you were here.
Father, please, you don't have to worry about me because I'm doing just fine, really.
Delia, I worry about you a great deal in the best of times. Now I find such sad reports about you. How are you today?
Oh, I'm much better, really, much better.
Well, that's very good news. When Maeve told me that you had gone looking for your mother in the cemetery,
Oh, boy, that must have really sounded crazy.
I've been thinking about you sitting out there in the dark, trying to get close to your mother who left you when you were so young.
Father, please, just don't go on.
Delia, many of us have failed you.
No.
Now, the best important thing for you now is to remember that people do recover from mental illness just the way they do from any other sickness, often to be healthier than ever before.
Father, I can't let you go on with this.
Well, surely it's a natural response. I do care about you, Delia.
But, Father, I don't think you understand the way it really is.
I understand that your fears and anxieties about losing Pat were a cause of a great deal more distress than I ever anticipated.
Father, please stop. I have to tell you something.
Tell me what?
Well, I'm not allowed to go to confession, am I?
No, Dee.
That's what I thought. So, Okay, I'd like to tell you something. And I want you to listen to me, and I want you to promise me that you're not going to repeat this to anyone, please.
Of course. Now, this is not a confession, but I do give you my word. Go on.
Okay, you see, I'm just telling you this because I don't want you to worry about me anymore. Father, I'm not sick.
You're not sick?
I'm not sick. I'm pretending the whole thing.
Oh. Oh, Delia,
Father,
no.
Father, you got to understand exactly why I did this. See, Patty comes to this hospital every day, and she's got all these little projects cooked up for the two of them
You
together.
mean Faith Coleridge?
Of course I mean Faith. She's been after him for such a long time.
Well, I know you believe that,
Father, Father, she was going to get him. See, I had to do something to save my marriage. I had to.
Well, I hope from time to time you give thought to the fact that in the eyes of the church, you're still married to Pat's brother, Frank.
No, wait a minute. See, Father, in my heart, I really believe that God approves of my marriage to Pat. See, God wouldn't let me get married to Pat if he didn't approve of it. I know it.
What are you trying to tell me, Delia? Now, I understand that you've been jealous of Faith for a long time.
Wait a minute. Okay, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Patty likes to take care of me, okay? So I planned this nervous breakdown so that he could help me.
Oh. I see how you might have come to that erroneous conclusion. But knowing nothing about medicine, how did you fool him and the other doctors?
It's a good question. Okay, Father. I got some help. Roger Coleridge helped me out with it. See, we both looked for the medical symptoms. Father, please don't look at me like that, please.
Oh, forgive me. Go on.
Father, see, what you don't understand, this whole thing worked. The whole thing worked. See, I know he's totally given her up. Father, I feel that Pat is going to devote himself to me totally. I know it.
Dee, have you asked yourself if it is right to do what you have done?
Oh, no, I know it's right. Father, saving my marriage and getting Pat away from that girl, now, I know that's right. Now, I'm going to get out of here real soon. And when I get home, I'm going to make Pat happy. I'm going to surprise you. I really am.
I don't believe anything you do will ever surprise me.
Well, see, once I get out of here... See, I spoke to Dr. Pagano, and he's a psychiatrist. You haven't met him. But I told him the whole truth. And, he's like you, because, see, I could tell you certain things, and you're not allowed to tell anyone else.
If you could only use that intelligence of yours to a good purpose.
Father, this is a very, very good purpose. Okay, because I'm going to be going home very, very soon. Now, I feel once I can get home, it's like my marriage can start all over again.
Delia.
Father, please, I don't want you to be sad, okay? Because that's why I'm telling you all these things. I don't want you to worry about me because I'm doing just fine, just great.
I'm sure it seems that way to you.
Father, when you came through that door, you looked very sad. And it nearly broke my heart, so I feel like I have to tell you these things. Now, nothing is wrong, nothing at all. Father, you have to believe me. Everything is wonderful.
Somehow you don't seem to be the very soul of dedication this morning.
Oh, hello, Faith. You could tell.
Uh-huh.
My mind's been wandering, I'm afraid.
Oh, I'm not surprised. How are Jack and Mary holding up?
Well, they're still down there. I spoke to Maeve about 20 minutes ago. They've been locked up now for 16 hours, and she's very hopeful. Apparently, they spent most of the night talking about the baby.
Well, that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm. They're sleeping now.
Well, things seem to be working out then.
So they do.
You're not entirely happy about that, are you?
Well, you can't blame a fella for hoping, can you? Look, Mary's still involved with Jack. Jack's still involved with Mary. Now, if you lock the two of them up together, where they have to deal with each other, the likely outcome is that they'll realize they've been behaving like damn fools and get back together again.
And, the unlikely outcome?
Well, I have to admit it crossed my mind that perhaps they'd get into a flaming row and arrive at the conclusion that the annulment was the right decision after all.
Well, anything's, possible.
Don't count on it, huh?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, well, sad to say, I've reached the same conclusion.
You know, you're helping Jack and Mary get back together again. Considering how you feel about Mary, it's a pretty generous thing for you to have done.
No.
I think it was.
Mary and I spent some time together away in Williamsburg, Virginia. Now, if anything was going to happen, oh, she likes me, I certainly like her, but there's a moment for these things, too.
And, the moment passed.
Yeah, came to nothing. Can you understand that?
Yeah, I've missed a couple of moments myself. I understand.
We can't go back.
That's right.
So, since I couldn't have married, it wasn't such a special thing to arrange it so she might have a chance with Jack. After all, there's no point in us both being miserable. My God, I didn't mean that the way it sounded.
That's okay. The Irish are always exaggerating things. I know about that.
So, I've been sitting here trying to get my head into the strike situation. I have a mass of PR material to prepare.
You do?
Yes. Handouts for the press. History of labor relations at the hospital. History of the current fiscal crisis. A comparison of costs at Riverside with other metropolitan hospitals. And brief biographies of senior members of the administration. Yes, and a statement reaffirming the hospital's ability to give first-class medical care.
Only it isn't true, you know.
Oh, it is according to Dr. Bolak.
The point is, we haven't been providing first-class medical care in the past. There's no way things are going to get better during the strike.
You stick to your version, I'll stick to mine.
You know, you don't seem to be taking this very seriously.
Faith, I'm trying to avoid an argument.
Because if you want a strong defense for what the House Association is trying to do and why it's right, I can give it to you.
Well, why don't you save it for Mr. Finelli when he comes out of the basement? I'm sure he'd be delighted to do a whole column for you.
That's a very good idea. Thank you, I will.
Well, that was a mistake. I must remember whose side I'm on.
Hey, look. If you wouldn't consider it a terrible act of disloyalty to the hospital to mingle with an enemy, why don't you just stop working?
Well, I practically have.
And come on over with me to Ryan's for a hamburger. We can find out what's happening with the prisoners.
I suppose I should face it, shouldn't I?
Yep.
Thank you, I'd like to.
Okay. I mean, after all, misconnections or not, we still have to eat and drink and go on living, right?
All right, life must go on. Can you give me about a half an hour?
You're on. See ya.
Okay. Goodbye.
Are you frustrated?
Thank you for being so prompt.
Well, Dr. Ryan told me that you were alarmed at the prospect of some of the junior staff members going out on strike.
I'm alarmed at the prospect of my husband having another anaphylactic reaction or a heart attack or even just being in need of assistance with the nearest available doctor 6 floors below us on a picket line.
You are aware that any of those events are extremely unlikely.
Bill and I have always believed in being prepared for any contingency.
Well, Mrs. Woodard, we're aware of the problems we may have to face, and arrangements are being made.
I, however, don't take anything for granted. Therefore, I
Ms.
do
Woodard,
want to check
please, please. There is an aspect of your husband's case, I think, that needs immediate attention.
What aspect?
You.
Do you mean to be insulting, Doctor?
No, not really. Actually, we've all come to recognize the devotion you have to your husband and the closeness that exists between the two of you.
Good.
Right now, your husband does not require a great deal of medical care. Now, what he needs is rest, quiet, and a relief from any kind of nervous tension.
I understand that.
Right. Now, when he's released from the hospital, he's not going to be an invalid, but he will have to live his life much more quietly than he has in the past. Than either of you have, unless I miss my guess.
You know, Bill could surprise all of us. He could come back.
Miss Woodard, I've studied his heart workup. If he attempts to come back, as you say, he's going to have a very bad heart attack, possibly a fatal one.
Are you sure?
I'm sorry, but I am.
I know he'll never be able to run for office again. What about actively supporting another candidate?
If you want him to live, not actively anything. Quietly in the background, yeah.
How about running the papers?
Well, fortunately, Mr. Woodard is a very wealthy man, and he doesn't have to work for a living. He can supervise, of course, but day-to-day application? Well, since it's not really necessary, I'd say it would be most unwise.
See? We've worked together in harness for so long. And what you're trying to do right now is persuade me to start slowing down so that later on it'll be easier for Bill.
You're a very bright lady.
You realize, of course, that I could interpret you to be saying that life is over for both of us.
Ooh, wait a minute. Wait. That wasn't my thought at all. I am only suggesting that it would be unwise for you to anticipate resuming the kind of vigorous partnership that you and your husband shared before his heart attack, that's all.
Doctor, I'm going to hate gardening and hobbies.
Well, it never occurred to me that would be your choice, frankly.
What do you think my choice should be, huh?
Well, wouldn't it be possible for you to undertake a vigorous, active life of your own with your husband sharing in your activities peripherally? A counselor, a loving supporter, that sort of thing?
Oh, that would take such a major readjustment on both our parts. You see, Bill is accustomed to being the full focus of my attention.
Well, you're a pretty able lady. I'm sure you can work that one out. Now, Mrs. Woodard, I think it's terribly important for both of you that you find new interests.
I know. New interests, new directions. Well, you never can tell, Dr. Bolak. Something may work out.
Next.
Al, hello. Are you heading in to see Dee?
Yeah, I'm about to.
What's the matter?
Pat, I'm sorry I can't discuss the details of Deirdre's condition with you. But to relieve your mind, she's much better than we thought. Much, much better.
That's terrific.
In fact, she's so well, I'm in something of a quandary.
You are?
Yeah, I'd like to run some tests on her. She's a most unusual personality, and I'd be sure to recommend some form of therapy, but with the strike almost certain, we're trying to transfer or release as many patients as possible.
Are you thinking of releasing Dee?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure she's well enough?
Yeah, she's well enough.
Oh, that's great. She's been wanting to get out of here ever since we brought her in.
Yes, I know.
Well, I could look after her, and I'm sure things would be all right.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that your wife will be just fine at home with you looking after her.
Certainly good news.
Yeah, but what about you, Pat? We're all going to be up to our ears with the strike, and there's going to be emergency duty on top of that, and you're taking on a very demanding personality.
I'll manage. It'll be okay.
What about your family? Is there anybody there who can stay with Delia?
Everyone works. My mother does have some free time, but she's taking care of Delia's little boy and my sister's baby as well.
Yeah, is there anybody else? That's too bad.
No, it's okay. It feels right that I should play a role in her recovery.
I don't quite see it in those terms, Pat.
But it's true. Now, what about it? Is she going to be released?
Troubles me most, Delia, is I hear nothing in your tone to suggest that you're penitent for what you've done.
Well, that's because I'm not.
But you've lied and schemed and deceived and worried some good people for no cause.
Father, I'm sorry about the lies. You gotta forgive me.
And for the deceptions?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the question now is, what do you intend to do about it?
Oh, excuse me. Hello.
Patrick!
Come on in, and we're finished.
Honey, got some good news.
What?
You're going to be released today.
You're kidding me. That's the best news in the whole world. All I want to do is go home and have you take care of me.
I take care of you and look after you, and everything's going to be all right.
That's what I want more than anything. I'm going to look after you, too. You'll see. I will.
Settle in for a night of drama featuring the biggest stars from your favorite TV shows and movies. It's your night for a great film with the Sunday Night Movies, every Sunday night at 10 on SoapNet.